isolated miners from our region, the Moscow Basin. He gave us 24 hours to gather our belongings. The next day, we were bused from that very square to the airport in Moscow.
Installed with sensors for every part of our body. On our way back, we'll pass such contamination control twice. So if you get contaminated, they will tell us precisely what part of your clothing of your body is contaminated. But as soon as you look outside of the windows, you will see that the village is completely overgrown. On the right side of the road you may see the remains of the collective farm. And this village was the biggest because there were around 3,000 inhabitants here. Till the year 2015 there was one old lady who lived here. Her name was Rosalia Ivanina, and she was the former teacher of Russian literature and language. She was evacuated from here 3 times. Though she received a new house, she was repaid for the loss. She received a new job, but 200 kilometers from here. She didn't want to stay there. And our authorities had nothing to do but to say, okay, you may live in the house you was born.
Right now it shows only 0.17, and just imagine, in my apartment in Kiev it's 0.23. And here we've got in the 30-kilometer part 0.17. I hope that is not because of me in my apartment. Luckily, I hope. Yeah, and right now we're standing in front of the bank, Soviet bank actually, it was here. It's impossible even to realize that it was the bank. As far as you see, this building was finished in 1859, but previously, before it was turned into the Palace of Culture, this was a church. In Soviet Union time, actually it was prohibited to believe in something, and that's why the majority of the population were atheists.
So friends, we continue our trip around Chernobyl town, and you may see the pipes above the ground. This is the new water and heating supply system that was built after the accident. On the right side of the road you may see the still working bus station. Bus comes here every day, a couple of times a day from Kiev. Then this grey building on the left side of the road. This is the dormitory for workers. Previously, this was the house with private flats. Then they were redone into the just rooms for those workers that come here. Now, 3 or 4 people live in one room, like students in the hostel. So that's why in Chernobyl town we've got the last Lenin in Ukraine. Not only for the reason that nobody lives here permanently, but as well nobody under 18 is allowed to come inside of the exclusion zone. And pregnant women as well, they're not allowed to come inside here. In a couple of moments, we'll make our stop next to the part of the memorial complex, Wormwood Star. On the left side of the road you may see it, and as well here we've got the statue to the third angel of apocalypse, as we call it.
In that direction lies the territory of the Belarusian part of the exclusion zone. And those lands are even more contaminated than ours. And their territory, in comparison to ours, is even bigger. Because after the accident happened, Ukraine lost only 0.02% of our land. And Belarus, they lost 4%.
Ja, see oli küll, oli.
So friends, at last we continue our trip, and now we are heading to another, probably last monument on our way in Chernobyl town. That is the monument which is installed in front of the still working fire station of Chernobyl. It is made of the same material, steel and concrete, as the first sarcophagus was made, and it was put here on money collected by relatives and families of the first liquidators. And those families, they decided to put it here on the 10th anniversary of the catastrophe, because those people, those first liquidators who came inside of the reactor number 4 to try to extinguish the fire on the roof of it, they sacrificed their lives for us to come here inside, for us to have an opportunity to lead a normal life. And if you look to the right side, you will see this monument. It is called "To Those Who Saved the World." And on the one side of it, you may see the firefighters, and on the other side, you may see the worker. First is the worker of the power plant. He carries the dosimeter. With the help of those dosimeters, they measure the levels of radiation.
My Geiger counter shows 0.24, and yeah, 1.44, but still, it's not the hotspot of radiation. Just a moment. If you come closer, you'll see that the level of radiation changed. It's 9.29. And do you remember what was the level of radiation in Kiev?
17.
Yeah,
0.17.
also. Yeah. And now it's 9.28. But in Pripyat town will come across even higher levels. But it is not that much to influence my health for a couple of seconds standing next to it.
A little bit further, that red rusty building surrounded by cranes. That is reactor number 5, finished only at 85%. Close to it, but unfortunately because of the trees you cannot see, there is the basement of reactor number 6. Then, this modern building on the left side of the road, that is the new nuclear storage, tri-type, it is called Payat. Here, spent nuclear rods will be stored for 300 years. But it is still under the process of construction, and by the end of the next year they promise us to finish it and start transporting those nuclear rods. In 1 year, they can transport around 2,000 of them, but there's more than even 10,000 of such nuclear rods. Because though power plant doesn't produce energy, there's still a lot of work, and workers come here and busy with decommissioning of the power plant. Those first firefighters, 28 of them, they passed away within a month. Because when they arrived at the clinic, it was already their latency period. So they were taken actually to Moscow Hospital number 6, which was the only place in the Soviet Union where doctors knew how to treat radiation-related diseases. It was of no help, because their bodies absorbed huge doses of radiation, and it was that difficult to cope with them. And they never made their way back here. Even their bodies, actually they're still buried on the Red Square in Moscow, and the special graves and the special coffins. Their coffins are made of metal and the graves are made of concrete, because they emit radioactive particles even. As soon as we've got the laundry, we've got here the water pumping station, because it takes the water from the peninsula lying across of Pripyat river, and it is clean. I know people who even drink it, so that's two facilities more. And another facility which is still in use in Pripyat town, that is the garage for the vehicles, different buses, trucks. Actually, all the technique that is in use today in Pripyat town is 30 kilometers long, because those cars are contaminated. Nobody wants to bother himself with cleaning it. And that's why they just decided to store it here, though even still using it today. Now we are going to river port because you remember that Pripyat town was built on the bank of Pripyat River, and there was a really good ship connection with Kiev itself, because you realize that the roads in Ukraine even today are not that good. And just imagine it's 30 years ago. And the majority of inhabitants of Pripyat town, they preferred going to Kiev with ships, and they used cutter hulls on ship's mortgages. So it was really cool and busy, really busy place, and always full of different visitors. Pripyat town itself was a unique place, because not only for the age of itself, but as well they had here no private houses at all, only multi-story buildings and apartments. Because as soon as you've got the private house, it means that you're superior, and the Soviets tried to make everyone equal, so nobody would be superior or anything like that. That's why the same grey apartments, the same furniture for everyone in here. But inhabitants of this town were not arguing, because it was a lovely place to live here. A lot of grocery stores, first in Soviet Union supermarket, even the piano store, a rare thing for the Soviet Union, you know. Then they had here really good hospital, they had here even Jupiter plant, that was as well rather unique place.
Now it's 0.73. So for Pripyat town it's quite normal. How much do you see here?
90.
Be careful.
No, 20, 25.
Not 25.
No, 27, 20.
289.
200?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it's
307.
2 decimal, 1 decimal. Wow.
Yeah. Those buses were taking people from Pripyat town. They were regularly going all around Kiev. They were being contaminated. Nobody just measured the level of radiation in there. And they use such to excavate the soil and the obstacles on the way of the cleanup. Like this one, that one.
We'll see the change of the levels of radiation. Right now, my Geiger counter shows 4.39. And you remember that the hotspots occur closely to the soil, so 8 already microsieverts, 10, even 10 microsieverts, like the hotspots were in the Lista village, 10.60 microsieverts. And we are in the bus, and it protects us somehow. Just imagine how it will change if we go out. 9, 8.91, 8.40. 4, it starts going down and it drops, because we passed that area of red forest. So if you want to take pictures of the power plant from this direction, you may, but we are not allowed to stop. That's why if you want to take pictures, just do it from the bus. Meters high and 300 meters long. So this huge piece of metal stands here till today, and we'll come very close to it for you to see how it is constructed.
another photo. Just try not to come close to the edge because it's not that you one tiny part. I believe that your mind was controlled that you decided to come back here once again.
Yeah,
to see.
definitely.
So, and another story about this place is that as if it can change the weather in the world or influence it somehow. Because there was the special place, like we call it today, it was called Krug in that direction, almost 2 kilometers from here. And there was the building in the middle of the circle of antennas. And it monitored the situation in the atmosphere constantly, because if there is a hole in the atmosphere, they will know about it. And if the ballistic missile is launched, the levels of radiation in the atmosphere will change, the temperature as well will be different. And that's why they just did everything possible for them to detect the launching. But it never happened, luckily. Because if it happened, the nuclear war will start. Unfortunately.
But the thing never really worked.
And this one, it worked.
But it didn't do what it